welcome back to my channel. It's Carol here at Collage Journals. Lovely sunny morning this morning. I'm going to do week 42 or assignment 42 of Margarete Miller's Collage Challenge for 2025. Can you believe we're at week 42? My goodness, blink of an eye and we'll be at Christmas. But enough frippery, let's get going. So the prompts that we've been set for assignment 42, part of a machine. Well, I've got this page from a Coke Ovens book, and I thought, I'm not sure which way around it goes, that way round. I've got two diagrams here of part of a McQueen stamper, whatever that is, I have no idea. I thought I would use this image, and the reason I'm choosing that one is because if you can see, there is a slight pink edge to it. If I put it down there, you can see, and I might be able to make use of that. Also, it's a slightly bigger image. So that's the first prompt. The second one is a piece of your own writing. So I thought that I'm bound to have some of this blank book page left over, and I could do a little bit of handwriting on it, which would hit the second prompt. Something rough. Well, I've got a piece of this lovely pink handmade paper, and if I hold it up to the camera you can see that it's got a rough texture. Fourth prompt, an image of a place that is special to you. Well, if you've been following my channel you'll know that I've been hankering after going to Japan for years, and we finally managed to get there this year. And this is a photograph of Mount Fuji and beautiful orangey pinky sky there, and obviously that's why I've gone for the pink handmade paper. The next one is a dessert. Well, I'm not particularly one for desserts, although I do adore fresh fruit. So I thought I'd get the best of both worlds and use this little pastry tart. It's got some kiwi slices in it, some blueberries, which I'm very partial to for my breakfast in the morning, and some strawberries, and that is probably a piece of orange or something like that, maybe mango. So I've got that. And finally, the bonus prompt is a torn piece of paper. Well, yes, this is the same as the handmade paper, but if I do this and put them side by side, you can see that I've ripped the piece that I had in half and they match. So if I put that to that, you can see that they are a perfect match. So this is my torn piece of paper and this is my something rough. So I've got the same piece of handmade paper to hit both of those prompts. I've also got some more handmade paper here. This is finer handmade paper, and as you can see it's got torn edges on that piece, and there is a torn edge down there on that piece. So I might use these, and again, as you can see, it's embedded with fibres that have a pinky tone to them. So I could use that. And finally, I've got some Asian text here because I just thought it would be lovely to use against this image. And also because there's little hints of red on here, which sort of pick up the colour tones in that, but definitely the dark penmanship picks up the dark of the lower half of Mount Fuji. I might use that for my background, not sure yet. This week, no fussy cutting because I'm going to leave that as is. The first thing I need to do is get this on my page. And as I said, I want to use this image, and I'm going to tear this away as close as I can get to this image, really. It is wider because I'm wondering whether I can make use of it that way round. So I don't want to compromise this edge too much. Need some space to play with. Now I've got it this way round. I'm going to play with it this way round to start with. Probably bring that up a little bit so that I can get this detail in down there. Wondering about lining that line up with my margin on my right hand side. So for now I'm just going to have a little bit of a play. There's a line there that I could make use of, which lines this up perfectly down there, and that would line down there. I'm not liking these vehicles down here, so I'm going to try and cover those up, which gives me a nice staggered edge, gives me that bit of detail there as well. Line up this edge of the dessert image with that line coming down there. See if I can make use of this. Just slide this in behind, maybe something like that. just to frame that pink. Got to get this piece in. It's crying out to go down here, so let's have a look at that. Wondering if I drop this down a bit here and pull it in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to trim that along that line there, and that'll give me a better idea of how much of this I can play with. So I'm liking how these pieces are positioned, so I'm going to put a little bit of glue behind them. I want to reduce this machinery piece down, and I want to make sure that it's more or less equal on either side. So I've got about 2.5 centimetres on one side and 2.5 centimetres on the other side would bring me to about there. So I'm just going to rip that to see what it looks like. And of course that was ripping away the piece that had the pink staining on it. I need to get in a piece of my own writing, but I also want to get in this if I can, because I just think it would look lovely there. So let's just have a little play with that. I just think that that would be perfect to get a portion of that down the side if I can, and even better if I could get that sort of effect. I'm not sure I will be able to, but oh, it's stuck. No, it hasn't. I'm going to rip away a little bit more of this. I'm going to commit to having this piece here glued onto here, so that this is slightly towards the bottom. I'm lining up this edge here down this image of Mount Fuji with this one in the back as best I can, and I've got this little slither here which I trimmed off there, and I'm just going to put it in the bottom there just to fill up that blank area. So I'm just going to hold that in place and hopefully be able to glue that where I want it, which was along there. And when that's dry, I'm going to snip it off. I'm going to put some glue under this top portion here, just to hold those pieces in place. And I'm just going to snip the other half of this away, because I think I might be able to make use of it. So let me just glue in the back here. And snip this away because I don't need it. That's the portion I want to keep. Whether I use it or not, I don't know, but we'll see. This little portion, I did wonder whether I could make use of it up here, in there, but perhaps not. But I could perhaps add it onto the bottom here. And I think I will, because I think it'll add a little bit of interest. I feel like I'm almost there with this one. Not so happy about that portion up there. Definitely want to use this. So I was trying to tuck it underneath in that area up there, but I could also have it down here, or I could make use and just put a little piece up in that corner if I can find the right symbol for up there. And that's too wide, I know. This one might look nicer because it's more delicate. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, so let me trim that. Trim this wider than I need because it's quite thin handmade paper, and I'm wondering about folding it in half so that it works nicely up in there. Part of me wants to put that down there. Let's have a look at that. I've chopped a little portion from this, and I was going to tuck it underneath there, but what I'm wondering is how it would look if I put it on the top. I think this might be a bit big for what I want, but if I trim it down a little bit more down here, I think that will work. And I could almost go narrower again with this. I might even need to go back to the original piece that I chose here, in that it's more delicate and will match up with that. So I've trimmed this one a lot smaller, and I think this is going to look better, and the text or the writing is finer, which matches this a lot better. I just need to decide whether or not I chop it there. So I'm just going to use this to just mask off a bit here. I'm just going to trim it off across there. Just taking the first symbol away, just to check that I'm not cutting away too much. And I am going to take away that other symbol there. Just staggered up there like that. I am wondering about adding something like this in that area up there. I'm going to add a little portion of this up in here just to kind of even that out. I don't think I've got any more of this delicate text. The only other option I could put up here is a piece of my own handwriting, which is one of the prompts that I'm trying to ignore at the moment. So let me have a look and see if I have got some handwriting that I can put up there. A little portion here of some notes that I made for my book club this week. And I could use a little bit of this. So what could I write, or what could I include rather? I could put the word untethered up there. Let me just rip this and see how it goes. Definitely want something across that corner, whether it's my own writing, but I need to include my own writing to hit the prompts, don't I? And actually it would be better going all the way across. Let's have a look what else we could use. I've got the word rung of a ladder here, which would keep in with the piece of machinery, wouldn't it really? Or mechanical theme. Don't like it. Didn't think I would, but let's go back to this one. I want to use some of this, in honesty, because I don't like my own handwriting at the best of times, and it doesn't feel right being on here, but this is cheating and I know it is. Yeah, I like that much better. Plus the paper it's written on ties in better. So I'm going to go with this, everybody. I know it's cheating. And actually, as Marguerite always says, there are no collage police. And I am most of the time using all 6 of the prompts. and the bonus prompt is there for us to change out if we want to. I could have that piece down in there. No, not liking it. I'm going to have to rewrite my notes for my book club now. But anyway, that's not a problem. Just put those over there to remind me I need to do that. I'm going with this, everybody. So let's get these little portions glued into place. Quickly going to rub out my guidelines and glue this onto my working area. So this is my finished piece for this week, and oh look, the sunshine's gone and we're now into shadow, so I better crack on before it gets too dark. So as I say, this is my finished piece for this week. Did take a bit of fiddling and quite a bit of poetic license, or artistic license I should say, to get to this point. Wasn't too sure about my collage choices for this week, so I did think I might have a little bit of a fight on my hands, but let's quickly go through the prompts. The first one, part of a machine, so I went with this part of a coking machine. A piece of your own writing. Okay, the first piece of artistic license. I didn't use my own writing. I used a little bit of this Asian text up here and another little piece up there to kind of balance it out with this. Something rough, well, I have my rough piece of handmade paper. So this piece up there. An image of a place that is special to you. Well, obviously Mount Fuji. A dessert. This is my dessert down here if you hadn't spotted it already. And finally the bonus prompt, a torn piece of paper. Well, I went with the other portion of this pink handmade paper and I've slotted it in down there. So thank you as always, everybody. I say it every week, but I really do mean it. Thank you so much for joining me again this week. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great week, and as always, a couple of pictures to follow at the end so that you can have a closer look at my efforts for this week. Bye bye now.